Uh-oh. Coffee on the desk. So what I'm playing over here is the Mini Freak on this table. It's out of view, but not out of the range of hearing. These match up pretty nicely, actually. Yeah, my bad on losing the live feed last time. T-Mobile had notified me during the stream before that they were going to throttle the internet until the 17th, so I was asking for it. We were asking for it. And so I decided to just do this from home and connect to the Wi-Fi to see if it's any different. Because my internet and my phone are both through T-Mobile now. We ditched Xfinity because of their BS, so screw Comcast. We're on to the combination of the two does a lot better, but they throttled the data on my service for my phone. It makes me wonder about what they do for the internet. Probably nothing, but still, it's annoying to say the least. Trader to the living, what is good? Welcome. Yeah, so it is Sunday. I figured I'd get on real quick and do this live stream over here. And, we talk about the news and gear production and everything that we're doing here. It's been kind of a unique situation here. Thomas Yan, welcome. I've just noticed within the past, and I've noticed for a little bit some of the things that have been going on in the trajectory, but sometimes you get so caught up in the hustle and bustle of everything, you forget where you're at or to just take in the scenery of your experiences. So a lot of people, especially in music production, we always work to that end goal. And all of us, we're trying to release that final product. We're trying to get to that end level over there. So when we're trying to get from point A to point B, a lot of times we forget about the in-between journey that pretty much represents the entire reason why we do this. So present company included, I'm no exception here. Jizz on 420. What a fucking name. Hey, do what you do. If you like it, subscribe, all that. It's a pretty good channel. This would make our 700th video. So, yeah, if you feel the need to because you like and enjoy the content and the people here, then, yeah, by all means. But if it's not something that interests you, then, we're not one of those channels that does the like and subscribe, smash that button, all that goofy ass shit. Y'all grown folk, You're like Bang Chan from Stray Kids. I don't know what that is, but hey, maybe a compliment, maybe a diss. You never know. It's all good. Thank you. I am a nice person, by the way. We have all these nice people here and friends and stuff like that. So yeah, like I was saying, we get so caught up in the hustle and bustle of taking this journey and getting to that end game, achieving the bag, getting a record deal, releasing the album, going out there and performing, all these end results to the first beginning stages of the product. We forget to just take in the scenery of the day. I never forget. That doesn't make me an exception to the rule because I periodically do forget about the things that I'm supposed to be taking in. So, I get stressed out as we all do and start, worrying about certain things like money, YouTube content, whether or not going to meet the deadlines, whether or not this project is good enough, whether or not we're going to be able to, push it out and make the mastering sound the way that it needs to sound. All these stresses and elements. Do I have the gear that I need? Do I have money to get the gear that I need? Just all these things. And, that's the journey. That's the journey. And being in the abstract of the high output type of people that we are, we forget, because we do so much, we're just on to the next. Yo, it has barely been a month since swapping that synth since with Apollo Hanzo, and we got the Mini Freak back. We're 5 episodes in. It was just 3 weeks ago that we took off to Cincinnati and rolled out. We had that whole journey, 5,000 miles, almost 5,200 miles. There was a lot of scenery to take in. I'm barely now getting into the editing for that video, and it's really reminding me of the things that need to be done. Doommonger, welcome. I was kind of wondering whether or not I was going to go at 10:30 because I wanted to hit your premieres first, but I'm going to have to hit them afterwards because Recon's going on at 10, and I'm already going to run into his stream, and I want to make sure to catch the rest of it. So my bad. I know that you're doing your premiere, but that's the thing about the hustle and bustle here. Doommonger is one of those high output individuals that's always running premieres of his music and stuff like that. And when it comes down to this thing, there's just so much going on, and there's so many of us with so much going on that, we're not only paying attention to our own journey, but we're paying attention to everybody else's journey individually and collectively as a group. We got this hardware jam situation going on with Inky Fest. And for those who don't know, let me just put this out here right now. I'll probably mention it a couple other times during the stream. Inky Fest starts on Friday in the evening for us in the States over here. It goes Friday evening, most all day Saturday, most all day Sunday. We have been kind of off this week as far as our regular consistency has been, just because of getting our jam down for Inky Fest. And we already have it up. We got it locked in a day early. Tyrone Sellers, what is good? Welcome, my friend. It's good to see you. Good to see you around too, Captain. I've seen you around these chats over here, being over here lurker extraordinaire as we are, sometimes on this channel. Cresshead, welcome. I responded to your Discord message finally. My bad on taking that time. I have Discord not on my cell phone that I'm around with, but on this cell phone right here. So if I'm not on the desktop or not on the cell phone at home connected to the Wi-Fi, I don't see it. And because I wasn't connected and then I went home afterwards, I fucking crashed out, went to sleep immediately afterwards. Hey man, how are you? How you doing? Protagonist. Yeah, I love that. I love that word. Protagonist. I think I'm gonna title that in the album or at least a song. But yeah, the MacGuffin Files. Welcome, DMG. How you doing? Okay, cool. Have to look in a bit. Yeah, it's kind of long-winded, but yeah, you'll get the gist. It's all good. I think I'm a protagonist. Aren't we all? And the antagonist of all of our lives as well. We are both the antithesis and the equivalent to. We are the sum of the remainder of the factor in the equation. With an unbalanced remainder. Whatever the hell that means. I'm not a math guy, so I'm a word guy. That's why my math ain't mathin'. Yeah, so we get caught up on bills, we get caught up on all kinds of bullshit and just totally forget, this struggle, this stress is the journey. And I'm trying not to stress out about things because there's certain things that I want or something. Like we got rid of certain things that kind of were what we needed to move forward with certain things. Got rid of the interface and the mixer. Those two things are needed to complete the recording process on the production scale. But not only that, doing the live streams. So now for now, stuck doing the long form. But I can't sit here and dwell on those things or be excited about those things because the trade-off. I've already made that, concession and realization. So, I just have to turn it off, but that doesn't stop the noise from continuing. Bae, what is good? Are you a pianist? No. No. I'm close to that. I dig on the synth over here, is what we do. Let me get this up a bit. Got the reface hooked into the MPC right here. I'm a producer, is my classification of musician. Producer first. I don't play keys much. I play the synth. I make beats, but yeah, my classification is producer. I take nothing and make it into something, with lyrics attached to it. Mixing and mastering is my favorite to do. Yeah, I am from the U.S. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, born and raised, currently in the Pacific Northwest, where it is raining and summer is over here. Reface is dope. I was really surprised at the Reface. This CS, my son didn't jive with it. But me being all knobby twisty into synthesis, this is like one of the best synthesizers on the market. And I don't say that with hyperbole, it's just really insane. The engine is great, and God, it's amazing what you can do with no presets. Welcome, India. You are definitely welcome here. I appreciate you tuning in. I know the algorithm pushes it and everything, but you are welcome here nevertheless. Just read message. We'll be on the way Monday. Cool. Yeah, and by the time, I know the time difference and everything like that, so you'll get it out before I get it to you, but I'll be able to get it to you in what is, around 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon over here. It's just the timing of everything. So I want to address this real quick, kind of get going on some of the details, because I had to cancel a couple more subscriptions here on YouTube. I had to cancel Malo Beats again, and I had to cancel Sarah Tuil. And I don't say cancel as in cancel. I just had to postpone for a little bit. What I've learned here about YouTube subscriptions, as far as the way that we maneuver with them, is that sometimes we can't afford to cover the ground on everybody. We're always going to stay locked into ProSynth Network. That's only a $3 a month subscription. We lost our premium, so we've been inundated with ads lately, which just reminds me to shut off my ads so you guys don't get inundated with ads. I was in Kirk State's live stream yesterday, and I was getting inundated with ads. I was like, oh, that's a reminder to turn the ads off during live streams. We don't have the size channel to where that would make a difference, so it doesn't make sense to inundate you guys with ads for something that's not going to affect the channel or the bottom line over here. It's just ads for nothing, for the sake of ads. But once we get up there in certain things, we monetize certain things, but yeah, it's just one of those things that adds up. This is the second time I've canceled with Malo Beats, but I'll pick it back up when we can afford it again. It's not really a big deal. It's just I don't like affecting people's pockets like that, and sometimes they wonder about it and they look it up and they say, oh, this so-and-so is canceled. I wonder if they feel some kind of way about it. It's nothing personal, guys. It's just financial. I put financial reasons. So, and that's the thing. It's not that the subscriptions are too expensive. It's just when you get like over 10 of them, it starts to add up like crazy. So we had, what did we have going? We had Tony Black. shout out to him. He just got off his live stream. We had EA Ski, which we had from the very beginning, and he had the most expensive of all the subscriptions. And I always support the homies or whatever, but Lil Tussin needs that more than him. So when it comes down to it, we're just not that size of a channel, and beyond the YouTube thing, we're just not that level career-wise to where we could fork over, a couple $100 a month for subscriptions. We set a budget to about $100 or so per month for subscriptions collectively, and it just didn't make sense to hold on to some but like relinquish others. The last two to relinquish were Sarah Tuwill. I really wanted to hold on to hers for a while because known her for just about the longest here in this YouTube space. But yeah, Venus Theory, we were on his. He has an independent one. I don't do Patreon anymore. We did do the Patreon at first, but bet Malo got that new MPC. Bet he did. He's at to what? Almost 50K or over 50K subscribers now. Shout out to Malo Beats. I remember when he first started his channel. I've been riding with him since the beginning. When he first started his memberships, I picked one up. So I saw you were live and just wanted to pop in and say hi. About to drive, so we're all good. Yeah. Take care, Carbon Vibes. Good to see you as always. News from I Am the One Son. Yeah, we've been in communication. I'll let him possibly explain it. If not, there's certain things that are going to be shared at a very specific time. But right now, it's just like the most of us, the bulk of us here, we all got an accumulated amount of events happening at the same time. It's like that pressure campaign of all these companies doing what they're doing. All these companies are collectively putting the squeeze on us. And I don't say that just to be, kind of antagonistic when it comes to this stuff. But if you noticed across the board, it's not just audio production here. Everybody's trying to lock you into a subscription, trying to get you more for less or less for more. Food, has been a big factor of that. Politics has changed all across, and it's starting to bleed into a lot of the audio production stuff. And we know here it's no thing. There's always been politics in music, especially in hip hop with, groups like Public Enemy and everything like that. But there's just lately been a lot more, even in our space here in YouTube, a lot of people mentioning stuff on, the political spectrum. And there was a lot of people within our space over here talking about the thing that happened in America just a few days ago or whatever, and already jumping to conclusions about who did what and picking sides and saying this. And it turns out they were all full of shit, and it's just the same old as usual. And you got to look at who you're supporting and what your political ideologies, and realize that maybe you are just a little too deep in this to be able to mention something, especially if you're to the point of jumping to conclusions and saying who did what and already attacking the other side based on one thing or another, when in reality you're wrong. And, it's not, a both sides issue. It's a one specific issue that needs to be addressed at a specific time, specific place, and it's usually not YouTube and politics, is something that, is reserved for the music. We get political over here, but not over here. I'll mention things here and there, but I won't go any deeper than that. If you guys want to hear deeper as far as political ideations and everything like that goes, check my music. We have an album that was called The American Dream, and the title track on that was a time where I was a political activist. So I was a registered libertarian and really lobbying against the war in Iraq. But I would never talk that nonsense. Half God, half beast. Welcome. Sorry I didn't catch you earlier. But yeah, it's definitely bleeding into everywhere, even in the skateboard world. Yeah, and that's the thing about it. People don't realize that a lot of us, most of us who especially experienced in this space, don't want to hear that bullshit, Sharif. If you got some things to say as far as your political jargon goes, I understand it's where you are, but if it's where your heart lies, then your music should reflect that. If music is where your heart is at, and then you also have this deep seated passion for politics, let your politics speak through your music. And no matter where you land on which side of the spectrum, you'll be appreciated more and listened to more thoroughly, no matter which side you're on. I mean, there's a whole thing of it. Politics is a minefield to navigate. I prefer to stay away from it. Yeah, and that's why here we're not speaking on one side of the spectrum or the other. We're just speaking where politics lies in the music. And where politics lies in the music is with the music, not with the music production. So we're not going to talk about that bullshit over here. All you idiots that were talking about it, you ended up being wrong about your conclusions that you jumped to anyway. That's why we don't jump to conclusions on the channel. And if you want to speak that shit, talk a political channel, open a political channel, open up a political discussion, and have that discussion. But here, we don't play that bullshit. You want to do something political, let it speak through your music, and whichever side you land on, it'll be appreciated because you went the distance and took these two passions and fused them together and made some awesome music. So go do that and shut the fuck up in the music production space. We got other stuff to talk about. Like the MPC Live 3 and the new Electron. Grace Griffin, what is good? Crazy Wabbit, what is good? Welcome everybody, friends. Trust My Monkeys, welcome. Twin Cities Oxygen, Gzilla. Yo, let's get the music cracking for sure. Yeah. And we're kind of in a position right here because of doing what we've done and the journey that we're on, to where we don't have a direct in right now when it comes down to it. We clicked on viral beats, not viral politics. Yeah, exactly. And that's why we're talking with friends here about music and gear and everything. So one thing that we've been working on here like crazy is this single. I was debating on whether or not I was going to do this in the car to show you guys going through it. Little Tussin's up. Yo, Little Tussin. Little Tussin finally woke up. Oh, man, your hair looks busted. Welcome, son. Yeah, you could stick your head in here. They won't be able to look at it. Show them your gash on your arm. Hold on. Is it... Hold on, do you got your thing on it? Oh, look at it. It's not that bad now. Look at that. That was bleeding. It was really bad. We've had to treat it and everything. He's got big old bruises on his leg. He didn't even fall off his scooter. It was because he was running in his sandals.
I couldn't even get up. No, seriously.
He screamed, "Mom!" And we was out streaming, doing some other shit. Where were we at? We were somewhere. We were at the park. Did the Polybrute do that? All right. Welcome to the land of the living, son. Okay, so this song, I've really been working. The reason why I turned off this music in the background is because I'm going to get into the weeds of this whole thing. School is technically in session. They finally wrapped up this strike. So on Friday, school started, but because Little Tussin is transferring from homeschool / home choice, they still have to lock that in. And because they've been on strike, even the admin hasn't been working. So they still have to work that in. So it'll probably be on like Thursday or Friday or something like that. I hope it's not on Friday because I don't want to be running around carting this kid. He's going to take the bus the first day he goes to school coming back home. But we're going to still have to get him there and show him around and everything and do that whole thing. It's fine. It's not really a big deal. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just Inky Fest starts on Friday. For those who didn't catch it, Inky Fest is a 3-day jam festival. Participants, there are, I counted yesterday around 84, 85, I'm not sure. There are over 70, there are over 80, I know that. I may be off on a couple, but yeah, the Inky Fest is going to be really good. So Inky Fest, for those who are unaware, is a 3-day festival, and it's a bunch of not only people here on YouTube within the space, but just jammers and artists that have come together and make these 10-minute jams. And effectively, it has been dedicated to the late great Inky the Cat, who is a beloved, person within this space, who, since passing away last year, has left such a lasting impression. Not only has it kicked a bunch of other people into high gear, but us, we started participating in hardware jams on a regular basis. We met up with Symptoms of Reality, who we just visited in person during this last trip. And yeah, so this year we're actually participating. Last year I didn't want to because, one, the timing of it all, I didn't feel comfortable enough because we didn't know her as well as some of our friends here, so I didn't want to impose and hurry up. I didn't want to make it about us or me. I wanted to represent her right, and I think the best way to represent her, especially at the time, was to shut the hell up and let everybody jam and listen to it all with pure enjoyment, and it was great. And this year, however, and in the spirit of being more inky, we definitely had made sure that we not only took the time to do what we did and participate in Inky Fest this year, but we did a whole big thing for it. So and we got it done not only in time, but I was able to finish it and get it through as far as the final mix goes. Not that I had any mixing to do; it's a jam, but we did get it through and push it through and made it through before the deadline. So let me get through some of this chat. 4 days of school weeks. Yeah, Jesus. Luckily, kids get 3 days a week. Yeah, for sure. Finished ours. I'm so glad you guys finished yours. Especially having that having that issue, in the middle of doing your guys' jam. So I'm glad that you guys got it in on time. So yeah, it's really really going to be fun. If you produced any songs, yeah, quite a bit actually. I've been producing music on a professional basis for about 20 years now, and independently. I don't have anything noteworthy that's out there or anything like that. Maybe a couple people may have credited me, but being a work for hire that just sells, you don't take points off the package, so you don't really know when it comes down to those things. Lately, I've gravitated away from producing other people and servicing clients as far as a production level goes, and have been producing for my own stuff and working on my own music because I took a 10-year gap between albums. And when I finally released that album 11 years later, COVID hit, all the restrictions hit, and all of a sudden we couldn't tour that album or do anything with it. So I'm kind of remastering that kind of stuff and now finally getting out there and performing those songs. But in that process, also started on YouTube over here, been on here for 4 years, produced 5 albums with the Roland Phantom, and just really kind of found our bearings in the jamming world and, gear space, because we, for all these years, have been anti-gear because there have been a time to where we were given a company credit card and running amok on audio production gear. And I'm not talking production gear, I'm talking recording gear, which is super expensive when it comes to outboard and all that other stuff. So in order to, relieve ourselves from any gassy thoughts or feelings, we kind of, dispel all that. But one thing that I've noticed too over servicing other clients for all these years is that my artistry, my music really took a back seat, and I stopped working on my own stuff at a time to where my stuff is better than it ever has been before. So now there's this platform, we've had this channel, and it just occurred to me during the 50th anniversary of hip hop, hey, we're quite hip hop over here. And while we thought that we were going to produce our way into the sunset and never look back, one of our friends gave us a beat, and it was drill out of all things. And then, I got my old ass up and started, writing to this drill beat and finished it right away. And I was just like, God damn it. So yeah, Inky Fest is a must for sure. Thought I'll never be able to improv 10 minutes. Ended up going over by 30 seconds. My bad, I didn't mean to spit on you guys out here. I'm over here spraying my spittle on the camera like a freak. That's what happens when you go live. My bad, y'all. That was disgusting. But yeah, those familiar with the channel will know that. I mean, we've said this before. Yeah, we thought we were done and produce our way into the sunset and be gone forever. But the 50th anniversary of hip hop really lit a fire, especially with receiving the MPC 3000 limited edition and that whole experience. And that's what I mean about being a high output individual. There are people, experiencing this channel that weren't even a part of that experience a couple years ago. And it's just, we got so much going on at such a rapid pace. I mean, we just got this reface in Ohio, and we're already doing things with it, and put out a bunch of stuff with it. So yeah, one thing throughout this whole journey of doing things, it's always been linear, A, B, C, and all that other stuff. And it's like I was saying at the beginning of the stream, one of the things here that I have really been neglectful of is just taking a break to look at things. And I always set aside time to look at nature. I always set aside time to take in the experience of what we are attempting to achieve or what we're going through, just the feeling of it, and really, taking in the journey of it all. But even me going through all this, forget about specific things. I've been so focused on the goal at hand and then focused on the nature that I've been taking in. I totally neglected this one thing about my life and music career and journey along this, ride. I am at a very interesting turning point musically. And it's not that, I didn't notice this before, but one thing that I have just as of recent, like the last week or so, have noticed is that this is a once, twice, maybe 3 times in your life event of what's happening here. And I'm not talking about currently. Time is a feeble human construct that we've developed on our own. And yes, necessary as far as things go. But if you look at things in the abstract, if you're doing things at a high output level and you're really just taking in all these experiences at the same time, going through it, you might miss a few things. And just looking at everything and taking a step back, I'm like, whoa, the journey, yes, linear time frame. You got the time that you're born, you got these specific events in between, and then you have your journey along the way to that end result, whenever it may be. You could have an accident, freak occurrence. None of us are promised tomorrow. That's not the point. The point is, whether you're promised tomorrow or not, you still have a journey to take in between there. And a lot of us here, even in the music production space, to where we actually take time to focus on these things, we forget. And I didn't even realize that, like, how pivotal it is for me to look at what I'm doing right now. And while I was thinking about these tasks at hand, getting the album done, doing this song, getting the iMac out upon, just doing all these things to progress, doing the next YouTube video, going live with you guys and talking to you guys about all this stuff, and just all this interesting stuff that has been going on. It just diverted the attention away from acknowledging the fact that, like, yo, this turning point, and a lot of it was just going back to this, not only dictating the video and working on the video from our trip, but also going back into the business plan, because having the iMac away and not being able to do a direct in, while I may have some sort of feelings about it, even though we've already made our concessions and realizations with it, it refocuses my energy to do other things, like write and finish dictating this business plan, something that we need to do so we can get to start building on this commercial space that we're working on. And all the stuff being dictated on here, showing you guys on YouTube, that's the channel, that's the content, so going through everything, yeah, cool, whatever, So to me, it's just knocking out these things like we do. That's why I don't take much time to promote, not even the website, even my own music, the marketing element. Even though I'm exceptional at marketing, when it comes down to it, I just don't have the time to dictate the marketing because I'm too busy with my head down, focused in the project, the task at hand, going through point A to point B, getting where we need to go with everything. And the interesting thing that I've realized these past couple weeks is, holy shit, this is one of the most pivotal turning points in my life, musically. And it's not just because of the shop and getting ready to build that. It's not just because of the love and community within this space here on YouTube with the Hardware Jammers, Inky Fest, all of our friends, and meeting you guys in person. It was funny that, Trusto had asked, I think it was Trusto asked, was asking me while I was there, was like, how many people have you met in person on this, through this YouTube production space? And I'm like, actually quite a bit. Actually quite a bit, but the friendships have changed now. Even though I've met those people in those circumstances, now when I'm meeting people, it's under friendly circumstances and just really an upgraded level of profound experience, because it's not just meeting somebody who does the same thing and we connect because we're all music nerds. It is the love we share and the continued relationship in doing awesome things together. Just played, packed, addressed. We'll be in the post Monday morning. Appreciate you, Cressy. I'll toss you a little extra for doing that ahead of time. You definitely deserve your flowers over here. Observer of Thoughts, welcome. What is good? I'm also look forward to being a musician, but I don't know where to start or how they get. Yeah. So, or promotion, how they get paid. Okay, so the starting point. The starting point is always finding where you're going to start. Where do you fit in this music world? Are you going to write music? Are you going to produce music? Do you want to just jam? Are you looking to do instrumental work? Are you looking to do movie scores? What is it, the thing that you want to do? And once you find the answer to that, monetizing that will be easy. It's the journey in between deciding and the monetization that's important. And learning throughout that, going through it, is a very long process. Um, this year marks 30 years to the date, not to the date, but to the year that we have first put paper to pen or pen to paper, and doing all this. Here we are. When I first started producing, I mean, I don't count picking up drum machines as a teenager because I was 15 messing with drum machines and all that. But when I started actually producing and taking it serious, I was 18, 19 years old, you know, 20 years ago, 21 years ago. Well, shit, no, 24 years ago. God damn it. We're getting old out here, and yeah, no matter where you land and where your starting point is, find that starting point and what you really want to do. And the journey, the important part, it'll be there. There's a very specific linear approach to doing music, and it's not just getting in the weeds of everything and producing start to finish. It is everything else that goes along with it. That's why we over here on this side of the spectrum favor mixing and mastering over everything. Mozart 505. I don't know if I said hi to you, but welcome, sir. I appreciate you being here, Lamar. And yeah, so going through this journey, I just really, even though I've been taking the time to be analytical and ingest what we are experiencing, there are very specific things that I've been neglectful of throughout this journey, and it's the fact that like this turning point right here. This is the thing that really got me going on this turning point because right now would be about the time that I'd be waking up, maybe a little bit earlier or whatever. And now for me, I slept in today. Guess what time I woke up? 7:15. That's sleeping in. I've been getting up about in between 3:30 and 6 o'clock every morning for the last couple weeks. And I've been staying up as late as needed to or whatever to get stuff done or whatever. But I can't find myself sleeping past a certain time. Once that witching hour hits and that creative spark hits, I'm up and I'm up for the duration. And tapping into that again made me realize that I forgot to look at it and see what that meant. And it's not only with the aging process because you get older, you get more salt and pepper. As you can tell by my thick, lustrous beard growing back in. You know, yeah, it's going to be a maniac when it gets down to here. Um, but not only that, you know, things start changing with the amount of sleep that you need and where you go with it. And that creative spark is always at that witching hour. My friends in Arizona will relate to this because most of us, the reason why there's so much creative forces happening in Phoenix is because fucking God, is because people have to stay in during the day because it's just so damn hot. So either you suffer through the heat and just live in air condition and hope for the best, or you sleep through the day and focus more of your attention on being up during the night when it's a lot cooler outside. So a lot of people, in that creative space during, in that region, they do that. That's why there's so many musicians. But that's not the only reason why there's so many musicians in Phoenix. It's also because it's a melting pot. A lot of people from the Midwest move to the Southwest because of the heat. My family's no exception. We were from Minnesota and moved from Minnesota to Arizona, so that was a crazy difference. But that's why the driving is such shit, is because most people are from other places, and then the locals there are so far and few between. They can't figure out how to dictate the traffic because you got people from Chicago, you got people from Detroit, you got people from New York, you got people from California, especially, because it's not that far, and it's really, really close. Facts, I wrote songs of my life, and most songs of my life in Phoenix. Yeah, You spend so much time with a quieted voice because no matter how up the town is, and no matter how long, during the night, the up is, you really have that calmer time. So while everybody's dealing with the hustle and bustle, you're a music producer. You're up in the evenings. It's crazy. And when you're on tour, it's the same thing. When Chris Calico came to Paramix to hang out, when he got there, it was 2:30 a.m. When he left there, it was 6:30 a.m. That's just how it's dictated. We have these times, and then when you go on tour, it's about the same time in the process. And you sleep in the early morning to the mid afternoon, and then you wake up in the mid to late afternoon, and then you have the entire evening plus the entire night to deal with. So it's fucking great. It's fun times. Hardware Sounds. What is good, Sam? How you doing? Thanks for sharing your experience. Yeah, yeah, my pleasure. That's what I'm here for. One of these things, and one of the reasons why I've done this live stream here, I didn't mean to go over Recon's live stream, but he'll be up for a little bit, is because of me forgetting here about acknowledging my own journey makes me realize that, oh shit, there's probably a bunch of other people out here, because we're all high output individuals, and we all love this music shit, no matter how it would help if you wouldn't call it shit. But like we're really into this and we really love it, in our hearts and souls. This is what we are. So we're all, as we're all connected as the human species are, the music people, we're connected a little deeper, a little bit more profound, a lot more profound. So I could speak from my experience and understand that a lot of you guys are either going through the same thing, been through the same thing, or are going to go through the same thing. And a lot of you guys are at the same level to where there's this huge transition happening and you're forgetting about little pieces to acknowledge and realize that the journey's bigger than this, that, and the other. It's more than point A to point B and C. It's more than just taking in the environment of your experience and just realizing what it is. It's also realizing these pivotal turning points in where you're at, and just kind of basking in them. And while we're on our downtime and not being able to do a direct in and doing these long form vertical live streams, the things that we're getting done in the process of not doing these things, these other things, just made me realize, like, oh shit, I'm not going to have time to sit here and think about what the journey is going to be. I'm going to be on the other side of that journey and be like, oh shit, I forgot to smell the fucking roses. I forgot to really take in the experience. And the thing is about taking in the experience, and this is what I've learned having a few of these before and being at this pivotal turning point, because it's not only having these experiences before, I haven't had this type of experience exist at this level. So it's like these experiences, even though I'm familiar with them, I'm in uncharted territory in a lot of this. But the profoundness of the experience is not lost on me. And being able to understand that, I also know that a lot of you guys are going through the same thing and forgetting yourselves. Because if I'm going through it, you guys are going through it too. I'm not being a narcissist or egotistical. It's just we're one and the same when it comes to the way that we represent this music journey. Just because we're different in the way that we make the beeps go boop and, twist the knobs and everything like that, we are one and the same in the way that we are represented as a human spirit. We all are wired the same way. That's why gas is a real thing, even though, I say, oh, gas ain't a real thing over here. Well, you know what? I'm full of shit, just like we're all full of shit. I'm susceptible as much as the next guy, and that kind of brings me to our next point. Music production and gear, where we're sitting at with things. I didn't want to get rid of the interface and the mixer, but we had to make our trip. and I kind of am looking into other things, and gonna hear. I am Korean. Welcome, Korea. Appreciate you, Rio, for being here. Bleeps, bloops. Have I been summoned? Uncle Chrome, welcome. Yeah, so it's been an interesting experience going through this, and gear. You know, we've obviously have favored Little Tusson's MPC Live 2 as of lately, and going through it. Yeah, interesting times. I think I got one over here. What is that on the 16? Let's see. There it is right there. But I got that connected on here. So yeah, been favoring this MPC, obviously, because of going outside and doing what we do. And it's fun. It's fun. And we had a whole Sunday's episode about this right at the time where the FCC filing was hitting, and people are starting to become aware that, they did this whole marketing push to get rid of these Live 2s and the X. So here we are. The filing said September. So, and it's looking like September, and people are actually putting leaks out there, whether that box is real or not. And somebody put out an image of the red MPC. Yeah, I'm down with it, and I'm even down with the price. So the suggested price, I think, or we think, is $16.99. That is 1,699 US dollars. Yeah, it speaks to a lot of things. Maybe they'll have improved sonics, but one thing we do know about the filing is the mic input, the speaker, and some of the upgrades as far as the RAM and the Wi-Fi. And yeah, I think we'll see it by the end of the month too. What I saw was, I think, the 24th or the 25th. But those dates are not locked in. This is all speculative information here. Our community being the slews that we are when it comes to high-end gear. Yeah, how much for a Behringer knockoff? Yeah, eventually it's going to come to that. If the MPC, if Akai were to increase their Live 3 potential to the point to where everything is improved to the point of sonic capabilities and everything, and that price tag sticks to the 1,600 or the 1,699, Behringer's going to have to come through and make a clone. But how are you going to do it? You going to throw MPE on there? Because the FCC filing clearly stated MPE, and MPE is costly. I don't care too much for the MPE compatibility. That's not really a big deal for me. The big deal for me is the mic input. That's what I want to see most. The improved sonics and the mic input. Those are the two that are the big thing that I want to see in an MPC Live 3. But financially speaking, we are not in such circumstances to where we could even get it on payments. I'm behind on this motherfucker over here. Probes, what is good? Welcome. How you doing? P6 is great. Just give it. Oh yeah. Just give in and get one. P6 is great, huh? Yeah, I have our friend Ali Star has a P6, and he's done real great work on it. I'm glad to have the Mini Freak back. I do not seriously consider any synths that cost that much, not my workflow, and I am cheap as a motherfucker. Yeah, that's another thing about this whole thing over here. I know once in a while, I try not to get my bitch on about these things because my income levels are not your responsibility. Even though YouTube tries to make it your guys' responsibility, I don't like to whore myself as far as, asking for things. So I don't like talking about my financial pitfalls, unless it's something that is past tense. So currently, what I'm going through is not really shared. I did share what we had to do in order to make our trip, which is the irony of it is that we didn't have to do any of that because these motherfuckers went on strike for damn near 3 weeks, and we had the time to make the money that we did to leave. But we had no idea that that was going to happen. It's just one of those things that you have no control over and you're just forced to deal with. So it's stinking thinking to go back in there and trying to, regroup and be like, oh, well, if it didn't turn out math, shut the fuck up. It is what it is and how it was dictated, and we got to do what we need to do. And it's not y'all's responsibility to pick up that slack because you know what? Music's an expensive thing. Audio production is a very expensive thing, and if you're just crashing the walls and going through trying to get and you don't know what tools you need, that's the biggest thing. If you don't know what tools you need and are trying to figure it out, good luck, because that journey is going to be a while. Maybe not. Maybe you'll find something right away that clicks with you. For us specifically, as you guys know here on the channel, we cycle through equipment like crazy. We've had so much stuff that we've cycled through since the beginning. I mean, we started this channel with the Roland Phantom. When's the last time you guys seen that on this channel? And it wasn't just the contention and the way that Roland handled things that brought us out of that. It served its purpose for us. We made the albums that we did. We couldn't go any further with it production-wise because it didn't have anything more to offer that we needed. We needed a sampler with time stretching. We needed pads that we could perform on, not just trigger pads. And those two elements right there completely ruined the Phantom for me. Because it's a workstation. It's meant to be a workstation to solve all these issues. And, after learning the sequencer and digging in deep to the synthesis of it all, it's just not that good of a synthesizer to be considered a flagship. Sure as hell not good enough to be considered a high-powered synthesizer. But the hardware is great. That if they would have taken that and just done more with it musically instead of just being so hell-bent on the hardware and what it was, the hardware capabilities are so next level, but they forgot a couple of major things with it. But yeah, workstations lost to me when it comes to starting producing. Yeah, and that's the thing of it. Wouldn't you rather follow that line, dictate that knob, move things around and build up? A lot of us, we would rather build up the way that we do and have specific things like this Mini Freak I'll never get rid of. Even though it's just a piece of gear. I mean, to me, it's all just stuff. It's all just stuff. You use what you need when you need it, and if you don't need it anymore, get rid of that shit. But our needs over here have changed to suit the channel and the things that we're doing on the channel. And it's trying to find that balance between doing the music and doing content for the channel. Like, while I want to show you guys this gear and this production space, I would much rather show you guys the journey, not just narcissistically my own specific journey, but the journey. Because a lot of people don't get to see, from my perspective, the things that I've done, the things that I'm going to do again, like building a shop from scratch, like going down to the courthouse, getting a license and doing everything that you need to do, get a certificate of occupancy, going out and renting a commercial space, building everything within that commercial space, communicating with some of these local leaders and politicians who dictate some of these grants and stuff like that. And we're at a space right now to where the arts are being invested. This town is really investing in the fine arts, and they're trying to find their way and their lack of ability to understand their own demographic, the millennials, the Gen Xers, the rock, the hip hop, everything. That's where we fit in over here. So the unknown element is something that you guys are going to see for the first time, as we are seeing for the first time. Because even though I've built these shops in the past and done these things in the past and have seen that particular side of the journey, I haven't seen the particular side in the journey where it reflects a town that is booming, that no matter what the global economy or the local US economy is, it is not going to dictate the terms of this town and the way that this city is being operated and the things that are going on here. It will not change the level of investment in the arts. And we don't need a large investment. We have a phase one, we have two phase one and a phase two and a phase three. We're either going to start at phase one or start at phase two. We're not going to begin at phase three because that's a little much, and even building out on the campus will take several years, and we don't have that type of manpower to do something like that. Not only that, if we were going to do that, we would have to get land something that is something local and commercially, which is not cheap in a town like this. So, I mean, you're talking multi-million dollars. So, while I'm over here, figuring out things, it's like I said on the financial aspect of things, what I'm doing over here, is way beyond what I'm doing over here and trying to dictate this album. So even though I'm working on my own music and working on this album and doing all these things musically, a lot of you guys have already seen that journey, and a lot of you guys haven't seen that journey. But this other journey over here, this other thing that I'm doing, is way beyond any of that. And even though I'm not servicing any clients right now, I'm also making a classic hip hop album and working on another legacy album. So I'm my own client when it comes to this kind of stuff because I will always have stuff to work on. So therefore, I will be freed up and being able to build the shop during the winter time and do all this other stuff. Let me read some of these. My workstation, XP30. Oh yeah, how'd you feel about Bad Gear? I saw that he just did a video on the XP30. They had an XP50 over at that over at the I think it was a 50. Did they do an XP50? I don't know. Before my era of collecting music production stuff. But anyways, yeah, dope. Pushing a mouse pointer around flat screen of colored blocks isn't really something I'd consider fun/creative. Yeah, it's definitely more fun with hardware. And even when I was doing that point and clicky thing, I made sure to always have a great controller to be able to use the hardware. And a lot of the stuff that we've been going through here on the channel has been going through that journey of trying to dictate what we need for the channel. And in the end, we don't need shit for the channel because here I am back to the cell phone thing, which is how we started with the Phantom Fridays and looking at them. We just did 2 cell phones and then edited that video and put the audio underneath, cleaned up the audio, and then put it out there, Phantom Friday episodes. And here we are going live through a damn cell phone, not making any. I mean, yeah, I got the stuff over here, play away. Where's the mix over here? I hate Dawes for writing tune. George G's, what is good? Welcome. Yeah, me too. Where's the thing at? It shouldn't be removed, right? I thought it was a... Oh, that's why. It's this one. I'm trying to figure out where the OP was at. And I know you guys don't hear that like I hear it. I think I got it figured out as far as what I want to do musically and all that other stuff. You know, I definitely have enough material in front of me to take this journey and do what I need to do. But it's that reflection of the journey that would really, it's just been lost at me. Yeah, tape is what I hate about writing tunes. So much rewinding, going with the tape. Yeah, there are advantages and there are disadvantages of using a DAW. You know, I mean, Logic Pro is great. You know, it's great for dictating things as long as you have a great, you know, on board or something in there. I know I keep snapping, my bad. You know, I know this really impact over here. The reason why you hear this over here is because I got this glass sliding door open. It is great temperatures out here in the Pacific Northwest. Summer has been officially over for about a week or two now, and it is currently raining, so awesome for that. Um, Hardware all the way. Yeah, you know, I would expand on that and I would say hybrid all the way. Um, but that's the thing, like, I don't think it works software wise. I know that people do it. I've done it. You know, I've done without a MIDI controller, especially in the Fruity Loops days. But yeah, for me, I'm gonna use the Wabbit philosophy here. For me, it's not as much as a philosophy as much as it is an understanding. You know, we all know that we're all different as far as our journeys go and what we love and what we, you know, need. Um, I love hybrid. I gravitate more towards hardware. I only use the software for the most part to dictate the song. And sometimes for production. Now that there's things like Arturia and fucking, I mean, Arturia's been around forever. You know, I had their old stuff. But now that we got their newer stuff and, you know, a lot of dope synthesizers within that, Cherry Audio always has good stuff. Um, yeah, there's just so much you could do with those, but still, it's hard to sit there and dictate a VST, but when you have something like maybe the Elka or something like that, that there is no hardware for that's short of $20,000 or whatever, you know, we ain't got the means to throw down on something like that. So, you know, we're gonna spend the 40, $60 for the VST and just go with whatever sonic capabilities come out with that. You know, you and I have different my bad. Sorry, I'm trying to read and talk at the same time. You and I have a very different flow, but in the end, we put our pants on one leg at a time, and then make it hit records. Yeah, for sure. Arturia is pissing me off lately. They're crashing VCV and more running to UAD effects instead. I That's interesting. That's good to know. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like doing this long form, like it's just the absence of that computer stuff is just, you know, I'm still using, like, my wife's over here. We still got the old Intel Mac, but like the old Intel Mac, I tried to run one of my SSL plugins on the old Intel Mac and it wouldn't let me. And then it forced me to update, and then it said I can't update without updating my software. My software doesn't update. I'm already maxed out on my 2012 Intel iMac. So I really hope that's not the case. I don't think it's the case. I really hope it's not the case, though. That's so sad if Arturia is becoming bloatware. Um, they did the good synthesizers. So they did. Speaking of Synthex, they did the Synthex clone, and then they did the 8000. So that was good. That was great, actually. But yeah, as far as effects go, what did they do after doing their 11? They did the drum thing, the drum sequencer thing, and you know, yeah, jeez. My show next weekend is made from 2016 CD tracks remastered through Sirius UAD chain, then videos made, duets 2025, the result. Dope. Very dope. Pigments is one of my faves. Yeah, Pigments is next level. I know that we all wanted during Arturia's, what was it, 25-year anniversary, we all wanted them to make a Pigments keyboard. They didn't. They did the Astrolab, and then later on at the end of their anniversary, they did the Astrolab 88 and the upgraded versions and stuff like that. So still, no such thing. That's another thing throughout this journey. Taking the trip to Sweetwater and being able to put my hands on an Osmos. Now we already got to experience the Muse and fell in love with it at Guitar Center over here, but the Osmos wasn't there. But knowing the Osmos now, the way that I've touched it is that even though I want one later on down the road, I mean they're what 15, $1,700, so they're not cheap. Um, I really want like I really want to play it with a Cherry Audio synthesizer, even some of the Arturia stuff. But I would rather I play it with a VST than play it as is. And Kent was right on about that. He was like, "Tell me how you think about playing a chord or doing something else." So I just tried. I was like, "Let me see what a simple chord." Oh man, it is all over the place. It's like MPE run amok. It's like I said about MPE, like I love the technology, it's great and everything, it serves its purpose, but there's certain elements to where having that structure is valuable to your key playing, and the Osmos definitely goes to the abstract and has those smushy keys. So it's cool because it gives you that level of control and that added unique element of diversity. But you have to consider the price tag and how it actually fits within the studio. And from what I hear, word on the street is these osmoses are collecting dust in the studio because people are touching it and then realizing it's not for them and then moving on to other things. And then when they have that in the studio, they're like, "Oh, that looks cool," and it's a centerpiece for people to look at and everything. But other than that, nobody's like, "Hey, you got an Osmos here I could use?" Tony Black was just talking about the good old days, going back, and they didn't have any gear in the studio. They had to bring the gear to the studio. And it's still like that for the most part, but there's a lot of places that have a centerpiece. Like, it's not completely uncommon to have an upright piano or any kind of piano or keyboard, like a motif or a Triton or some classic piece of equipment in there, even, an MPC. And a lot of those times, even our friends over here, had to ride their bikes with their MPCs through LA and go travel to the studio and make that work. And the Osmos, you're obviously not traveling with that. So, people, you like, "Hey, this is the next big thing," and it may be, but, one of the things that first got us away from the Osmos was one, the Egan Matrix needed a specific power, a computer. So we got the iMac and, blew our whole wad on that, and then realized that, hey, we still need these other things to make it work. And then, got into the MPC finally again and just got distracted with that. And then finally got in front of the Osmos. I was like, "Oh yeah, forgot. This is the first time being in front of an Osmos," and it's great. It's great, but it's more like a not a primary piece of gear. It's not even a secondary piece of gear. It's like your fifth synthesizer you would want in the studio. Something that you would have just as an extra to pull out and play with every once in a while and make a little bit of progress at a time, before you start getting in the weeds of things. Shout out to Ben Jordan, who really dug into that matrix and, has gone through it, with that damn thing. And, a guy like him digging into it the way that he has, even he realizes, like, this is the next thing. But, like, he still isn't on his Osmos every day making his regular production with it. It's just the way that it goes. Let me get a few. Not a big fan of MPE or complex elbow on the keyboard chords. more about melodies and musical motifs. Yeah, rips and motifs in my music. Yeah, and that's the thing about it. I'll buy an Osmos when I find it for 700. Yeah. Right? Give me that half off. Give me that half off. It'll be in the studio right away. But yeah, without, I mean, yeah, you could load your samples and do whatever, but without being able to really go the distance with that keyboard, I would prefer something else. I'll buy an instrument before I buy an Osmos. Yeah. And that's the thing about it. I feel the same way. I would prefer the instrument over the Osmos if I absolutely needed that MPE capabilities like that. But again, we're talking big boy gear, and that's another thing about it. Like my production level is up here and my gear is down here, so you look at the studio, I don't have a studio with a bunch of outboard gear, so automatically my credentials are lowered, because people don't see me with a lot of gear and they're like, oh, they must have not have their own studio and built up. It's like, yeah, because I live in an apartment. I'm not going to build a studio. I'll build whatever I need to and reflect it towards the camera or whatever, but I'm not going to sit here and build a studio in a place that's temporary, and this temporary place is turned into 5 years. So, but we're getting on with that and moving forward with that, and outsourcing studio time and all this other stuff. So we're just playing around on the channel, and we're going from the playing around with the music and everything to the really developing business wise and musically. Not only are we going through what we're going through with the album as an artist over here, but we're going through as a business over here. And doing these things on the channel consumes all of the time. So I'm sorry that I can't do any direct in right now, but it doesn't matter because I could still talk to you guys. I still got the Discord. We still got memberships for the exclusive Discord. And I talk to you guys all the time. Everybody who's in the chat, I've talked to you guys today mostly. Because I'm like, what, the fourth live stream going. And we still got Recon in the background over here, hopefully, and I had a studio and project in the projects in the mid. Yeah, and those studios are where the magic really happens. When you're in a basement, like the Dungeon Family basement, like when you're in a basement and you're just in those circumstances to where you have to make the most with what you have and have this very small space to get it going, you really learn how to understand dictating music in smaller, controversial spaces. Having a recording situation in a problematic space is kind of the commonality that we all share as far as studios go. But a lot of us on here on YouTube have our own setups, where we've had sitting around, we've just been collecting and building up. More power to you guys. We're just not at that level in our lives and with the way that things are going musically. Yeah, we're not just at, we've been at that point before. Like I was telling my wife, we were talking about this, and it's like, man, if we had this YouTube situation when I was working at the studio and I had my office, it would be dope. If I had this when we were building the second shop, even building the first shop when I first got on YouTube, only I may not be able to share with you guys when it comes down to I may not be able to share specific things with you guys when it comes to doing the dictation here on YouTube, like the screen recording and all that. Hold on. So I'll be able to find it this way. You guys want to see something hilarious? A lot of you guys have already seen this, but this is me in my old shop. I'm going to turn the sound down so you guys don't catch it. But this is me in 2006. When YouTube was just becoming a thing. There's the Paid Shop. That's my first retail store. This is my old YouTube channel that I started. I cannot get it back because it was created with a YouTube account or a Yahoo account that I no longer have access to, and because YouTube was bought by Google. This is what we used to do after shutting down in the night. This is what we used to do. We used to hit the turntables and we used to go around and we used to rap and do funny things. We used to do our rehearsals and everything. This was my first shop. This was the Paid Store in 2006, right on the border of Glendale, Arizona. And we were on the Phoenix side of things. So we were not doing a live streaming was not a thing. You didn't even have the ability to live stream during this time. Live streaming during this time was Ustream, I think, just came out during that time, and I could be mistaken on that too. But live streaming was not a big thing at all. It was not even a thing that was available on YouTube. But yeah, this is my old shop. We took all the merchandise and cleared it out, and then got on the stage that I built, and yeah, we had the turntables for the shop during the day, two 1200s, and that's a guy called Mayhem, one of the locals there, and he got on the mic, and yeah, this is us in 2006 on YouTube. So, like, we've been here. We've been here throughout the whole space doing specific things. But if I took the time and got to do this at the second shop, which technically kind of did, because we had, Shock G at our shop. When we had Digital Underground there afterwards, and we had that camera crew showing everything, I thought that was going to be the big promo. But because we didn't have our own cameras like we should have, and that was 2010, things were a little further along, but still, live streaming was not a thing during that time. Real Video and Ustream days, yeah. Alta Vista, yeah, that came out a little bit later, I think. Eddie Sonic, welcome. Good to see you live again. Hope just record producers and streaming. Hope to take today's content and stream next month in July and August. Finally finish those sessions. Dope. Yeah, so yeah, I just wanted to share with you guys and talk about some of this stuff here, because even me, as well together and thought out as it seems like I am over here on this side. And as much experience as I have writing music for 30 years, producing music for 20 years, all the albums, the studios, my first shop, my second shop, even that, we have never gotten to the level that we needed to be during that time. But during that time, we were exactly where we needed to be. Those who know the story will know that if my second shop did not fail the way that I did, I would not have been able to be there for my late father. I would not have been able to take care of him. I would have not been there for him in his final moments, which were the most pivotal moments of his life, and the relationship that we shared together. So, yeah, you never know the reasons for things happening the way that they do. Sometimes you don't find out until 10, 20 years later. Sometimes you discover right away. And one thing that I've discovered about this journey in music and how many times I've been through this, the ups and downs, hundreds of thousands of dollars reduced to nothing, we go through these experiences and we take our lumps and we learn how to operate at a better capacity the next time around. And our capacity right now in comparison to before, I thought the person that I got in business with was a music person, was a person like us, but he was not. He just invested in the music space to try to make a career out of it and take advantage of the space that exists. And taking advantage is one thing, but if you're taking advantage as a non-music person, things are going to be complex, and they're not going to work out, especially if you're partnered up with people who are music people, who see the light at the end of the tunnel, who understand the way that things work.
we had to go from doing weekly meetings to daily meetings because these people had to catch up on what needed to be done just to maintain the business, just to keep the shop open and do what we needed to do. And because they didn't understand enough to compute a week's like, okay, this is what we need for the week, this is what we need to do for the week, we had to change that. A vulture capitalist. Yeah. Yeah, music is abstract universally, and the way that it is created and dictated is the antithesis of the compartmentalization that we as humans do to try to narrow down the focus on genres, time frames, formats, everything, money. And it just comes to those things that really draw away from honest music production. But we're all susceptible. We all fall into the trap. And I'm no exception to that. And part of the reason why me doing this live stream is because I've realized over the past couple weeks that I've fallen into this trap and not being completely aware and understanding of everything that we are going through right now. Yes, I understand everything business wise and musically, and who cares? But where we are at right now, humanly, is like a once in a lifetime moment, and everything that is going on right now, everything should be reflected, looked at, acknowledged, received, and reciprocated. And I need to stop taking these shortfalls as discrepancies when they're just a part of the journey moving forward. And even though I can't do certain things here, I can do other things. We can do other things. So I've really taken this time to polish my performance. I got this Industry Brats track. I've been watching and listening to this industry's lack of vision, position, and acted as a rapper slap in the face, actually using AI to gaslight us to think that we need it while they repeatedly look for ways to cheat us out of being creative. The state of hip-hop in a mental decline, while they still talk like it's dying and disrespect those who are on the grind, sign on the dotted line and everything's fine. If you don't, you're a pariah, and there'll never be a time for you. Dirty rats in the trap, and they'll never get the life back. Losing it all, walking around like the Iceman. It's a Drake diss. The track is a fucking Drake diss. Yeah. And, Drake's younger than me. He's younger than most of us. And this is where I will get a little contentious because I don't like the guy. I don't like the guy because he's poking his chest out like he's larger than life when really he's smaller than most of us musically. But because he's got this larger than life industry persona doing what he does or whatever, that got to his ego, but the reality of the situation, he's just a shitty person and he's way too suspect with young girls. But him trying to play the tough guy as the Iceman now, while he's over here fighting a court case against his own label for a battle he initiated with Kendrick Lamar, and all the shit he's been doing in between then and things he's been saying. It's just like, and you feel entitled, never put in the work in, but feel nobody is worth it enough for you to consider the verses. I've been working on this song because this is going to be the single, and T-Sketch is with me on this. So I gotta really polish this down to get through, being an actor while you're playing a rapper performing someone else's tracks doesn't buy your way into hip-hop either. He used to play on Degrassi. He was the guy in the wheelchair at Degrassi, which is a show in Canada, and he's over here trying to be a hardcore tough guy rapper, and then shitting on people that are, older than him and know better than him as if he knows better than them, but that's kind of the same thing as well as politics. I could have done zeitgeist type material and really shit on this guy and his musical journey, even though, being negative and all that other stuff. And I could have been one of these guys, one of these channels that achieved this huge bag because of this Kendrick Lamar battle. But that's not us. For one, we're not here to tear somebody else down, even though they're largely disrespectful to the craft and the people around them. So even them being there with it and us being here with it, not really our place on the channel. But lyrically, yo, I'm gonna eat this motherfucker alive. I eat pieces of shit like him for breakfast. And yes, I eat pieces of shit for breakfast. Time to finish setting up for a jam. Word, only 4 days. Yeah, word, hell yeah. Yeah, take care, Uncle Chrome. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, but that's the thing about it. That's the rapper in me. That's the battle rapper in me. You know what I mean? That's that in me. I'm not gonna take that in me and make it my professional persona over here, even though I'm largely abstract on the channel. You know, we fuck with each other. You know what I mean? I cuss up a storm and do crazy shit on the kayak, you know, and I'll take chances that people won't do, you know. And one of the things here that I'm glad that we have done is influence a lot of other people to get out there on their gear out there in these great moments. The Observer of Thoughts, welcome to Poverty Tussin. I should change it to something else, but Poverty Tussin just sounds so better. You know, it's what, $1.99 or $2.99, and then the other one's $4.99. So appreciate you. Thanks for being a part of the tribe. You're one out of, like, I think we're at like 20 something or something like that. We're getting there. So now you have access to an exclusive Discord. Let me know if you do not get the email, but everything's automated, so you should get the invite to our exclusive Discord. If not, I'll find you on it. But it's been a well-oiled machine and been working pretty well. You know, I really on this channel at first didn't know where to find our bearings, and I really thought that doing the things that YouTube wanted us to do here, like doing the channel memberships thing, begging for donations, you know, just climbing the corporate ladder, so to speak, on this YouTube space, but not realizing the pitfalls of doing music in this space in a place to where, you know, YouTube doesn't respect the music, and not only that, the nature of it all. The two things that we like most, YouTube doesn't want. But they do want you to be in the space and do what you do, and cool. But what I'm saying here, though, is that I've really taken the time to dictate these memberships, and I fine-tuned them. They were a 5, 10, 25, you know, but now they're $3 and $5, and the difference in the way that they are. Heavy discounts on our web store, exclusive Discord, exclusive videos. You know, this may be the 700th video, but we've done over 1,000 here, and a lot of those, they're not public technically, so those aren't counted. There's been a lot of stuff that we've deleted trying to find our bearings here, and you know, being on YouTube, we have really found our bearings here, and it's really kind of diverted back to that music and understanding what we need to do at a local level, because doing things here on this space isn't really a viable option when it comes to our ultimate goal and what we are capable of doing over here. So where we fit in this industry, in this zeitgeist, in this musical space of YouTube is actually a lot more beneficial to the viewer, and is as much as us much more fulfilling as far as the content goes. So we're just kind of locking down those details and getting through this whole thing. So I really appreciate you signing up, and it really feels good to have professionals and amateurs alike be a part of this. And the most important is the people who care about the music and doing things the right way in this space are the ones who frequent this channel most often. You know, and as much as I feel bad about not being able to support my fellow YouTuber as far as memberships that we needed to cancel, we still ride with Sarah Tuel, Malo Beats, Ben Jordan, Venus Theory. There's so many out here that we've been a part of, EA Ski, Curtis King. We really have supported this community as a whole. And it just, once it comes up to a certain amount, it's a lot more difficult when you have financial circumstances. And we'll be back up on the memberships later as far as, us being able to support other channels. Tony Black is one of them as well, and Weaver Beats even, and as much as I feel bad for not being able to support financially the way that we have throughout the years, I do feel good that we have learned and grown through these relationships and understand each other. And I just haven't been on these channels commenting as much because we've had so much going on here on this side. And now it's a real time to effectively pivot the channel to the business space of reflecting these local experiences. We're still going out there and doing everything that we've done. We're still going to do everything that we've been doing. It's just the addition of this is going to occupy the majority of the space here. So less chat, more splat, or more chat and more splat. Because, like, seriously, talking a lot more and doing a lot more is definitely a necessary part of all this. I do like to support people. I like and appreciate either memberships, sample packs, or presets or whatever. I appreciate you, Davey. And you're one of the earliest. I mean, god damn, like, crazy it's been all these years already. Like, you just look back on it and you're like, oh shit. I mean, god, you got that that yellow badge means 18 months plus. And I think it goes beyond that too. I'm not sure. I think the next one is the 2-year, 24-month, 17 months. Okay. But it's been that long. It's been that long, really. That was, and that long ago, that was when we had the MPC 3000 limited edition. That was before we did the giveaway. That was, before we did all this, or the raffle, I should say. Sorry, Tyrone. I try not to talk about Bruno, but every once in a while, I left that, I forgot that one thing, that one beat on the 4-year thing. And yeah. Oh, I wanted to tell you guys who you guys have YouTube channels out there that are smaller YouTube channels that wanted to know how this whole thing works. Hold on, let me get off camera here. I'm gonna be wiping my nose over here. All right. Sorry, I didn't sniff a line or anything like that. It's just keeping the shit out of my face. Okay, so I threw $50 towards promoting the 4-year video thing. The reason why I did it is because the algorithm effectively killed it. There were only 89 views on it, so it didn't even cross over that 100 to where it's going to be replayed in the algorithm. So I was curious on how this works. I ran a 2-week campaign for $50. And I didn't get any subscribers out of it. I had the cash up in the corner. I didn't get any donos out of it. But I did get, I think, 1,300 views out of it. So, the reason why I wanted to do that was, one, I wanted to find out whether or not these promos are going to make any difference, and two, I wanted to promote our music that we've made over the past 4 years, and having a 3-hour video that has 4 years worth of music on it would be the perfect way to introduce people to our channel. And although it wasn't a big enough campaign to make people go for it like that, the irony in all of that is it being over 1,000 views now. Because of that, I can now monetize it. But because it's a music video and it's a 3-hour music video, I'm not going to inundate people with ads, so I still leave the advertising turned off on it. And I know that sometimes they run ads whether you decide to turn the ads on or not. I don't care about those things. It was a sociological experiment. So I was trying to figure out, and yeah, basically it's like buying views technically, but I'm gonna try it with a different video and do a little bit different campaign just to see how things work. But I don't want to have any fraudulent subscribers on here. So I appreciate all you guys who have been, and what I mean by fraudulent subscribers here, yeah, that's the thing about it. Not having premium anymore. I got rid of the premium and now being inundated with ads, it just reminds me to turn the ads off because we're not trying to reflect ads. Even though the ads do pay us money, we do have ads on for the shorts, but they don't show it in the middle of shorts. It's in between them if you're scrolling through the shorts, which most of our community here doesn't do. So it's mostly the outside world that gets it on that. And that's all, you know. We're not on here for money. We're here to show you guys the journey. I wanted to monetize for the sake of making a living off of this channel, and realizing how far and how much work is going to take away from the music something awful, something more than I ever would want to reflect in this space. So it's either you put all your eggs in a basket to edit and do this thing on here and do the long haul, because no matter how good it is, no matter what you do, there are suppression algorithms that prevent you from doing certain things unless you adjust your content a certain way and do these extra things that take way more time than they should, and then still it's the long way down the road. And we've already spent 4 years on here. We've done all these other things to try to do more. And if the dude, seriously, the kayak shit, not just the doing that live, but doing that in content should blow this shit up in like the 20,000s, 40,000s. It doesn't. It goes to show you it doesn't matter what kind of content you do. It doesn't matter how good your music is, because I've been sonically dialed in, you know, even though I'm not right now because the camera over here is dictating, and yes, you guys hear my voice more than anything. It doesn't sound like a broadcast mic the way that it should, so it's different. Still, that doesn't mean anything. I've been growing more on this channel. We've been doing more with these than I do at my regular live streams putting together music. Bolo talked about it. Yeah, and I'm going to go through it. I'm working on the content of going through other people's channels and stuff like that. It is something that is regularly considered, because you get on this platform musically with the frame of mind that if you're just good enough, that should be enough. But it's not. It doesn't matter how good you are, how many people you communicate with. You know, Viral Beats has been on Weaver Beats. You know, we've been Curtis King. We've been all these bigger channels that we've been on, and it didn't move the needle at all for us, you know. And that's another thing. People think that as a channel, from the channel's perspective, that you might want to attach to some of their juice and do whatever. But that's not the case over here. It's never going to be the case. You know, we're never going to piggyback on somebody else's ride. And when it comes to this YouTube space, this is the space. This journey is what our YouTube is intended for. We're not here to, I mean, yes, we'll talk about the latest plugin. We'll talk about gear. We'll talk about the latest, we'll talk about all that shit. We'll even show some of it on the channel because we use some of it ourselves. But we're not existing in this platform for the sake of promoting these other companies. It's like I said during the other live stream, we're the company. The promotion belongs over here for what we're doing. And because we're working on so many things musically, but most importantly, business-wise, and doing this, you know, execution of the business plan locally and what we're doing with all that, we have more content than we have time to even throw it out there. Like, I have months worth of content that I'm currently editing right now. I just don't have time for it because I'm not a video editor. I edit video for the channel and, you know, do whatever I do as far as that goes, but like, we're busy as shit over here. you know, and I still want to talk to you guys. You know, I can't sit here and just be silent and bogged down in my work. That's exactly what we're going to do. But while we're going to do that, we're going to have these conversations and we're going to be in on these live streams talking to everybody about it too, you know, because 30 years since putting pen to paper, 20 years since, you know, doing, you know, professional, you know, production, you know, we have something to offer this space, but it's not just what we have to offer this space musically or business wise. We have something to offer this space locally, and what we're doing is a very specific thing that we are in the process of achieving. And that reflection of just stopping and taking a step back and looking and saying, damn, this is a once in a lifetime experience, maybe twice in a lifetime experience. This is one of those transitional moments to where if you don't stop and acknowledge it and take a breath beforehand, you're going to be tripping over your own feet because you're running too fast. And we've been running, but we've mostly been jogging. You know, it's mostly been a consistent pace. Now we're running faster and faster, and it's not related to time. It's not time. We're not going quicker as far as taking the time to hurry up and get through this. We came up with the idea for the Hip Hop Undead album almost 2 years ago now. You know what I mean? And it hasn't really been that long, but it's been more than a year. Shit, that Fun album was already produced before we even started on the channel 4.5 years ago or 4 years ago. You know? This world needs a hero. Welcome, sir. Yeah. Perfect example, somebody who's grinding their way through this, you know? And good on you. I saw that TO5. You son of a bitch. No, I'm just kidding, man. I love you. I love that. Love that damn synthesizer. I'm in love with the TO5. The TO5, I would get rid of the Mini Freak for the TO5. I know the TO is significantly more expensive and in another class, so to speak. But like, that is one because the size, form fitting, and the sound quality and everything. I'm just in love with that synthesizer. TO5 is on my radar. It's also $300 more than it was last year. Oh, that's gotta hoit. But shit, it's worth that price too, motherfucker. So, will we ever get an MPC Live 3 when it comes out? Likely. We probably will. We probably will just because of it'll work out that way. It will work out that way because we're still going to be working on music. But goddamn that Muse, man. See, we're no exception. We're over here gassing up all this. I just been calling Bender's Modular. I won't buy it new. Saw it for $1,000 not too long ago. Yeah. Yeah, and that's one of those things too, to where it'll probably be really good to buy used as well. Yeah, James Dyson is the one. TO5 is a beast once I added the James Dyson presets. Yeah. Yeah, he's the one who first got me looking at it and actually listening to it with my discernible audio production ears. But man, I've played it a few times now, and god damn, what a synthesizer. Oberheim really knows what they're doing. There are two Muses going for $2,700 and $2,800 near me. That's still out of our fucking price range, guys. See, and that's another thing, you know. I would love to live in a perfect world to where I could just get what I want and just have at it for the channel and do what we need to do. But there is something to be said about this progress. You know, there's something to be said about this process. You know, there's something to be said about every single element of the journey in between. And, yeah, in a perfect world, we all just get what we want and need and just right then and there be able to do what we need to do. I can do so much over here, but I can only do so much with what we have. But I could do a lot with what we have. You know, I could do what we need to do musically almost. You know, the only thing that I'm lacking here is a proper recording space to have my lyrics, projected the way that I need to. Cheapest Muse went for 1900 near me. The person was moving and had to get rid of it. Yeah, I remember you saying something about that. Man, if I had the bread. But, if I had the bread, I wouldn't be getting no goddamn Muse on discount. I'd be fixing some circumstances over here, getting my iMac out of pawn and selling that shit for a laptop. But what I've realized throughout this whole process is that, my Intel iMac been priced out the game, so that'll stay with Lil Tussin for sure. Man, I keep on adding plugins, even if they're cheaper, still money. Yeah. We've been on a complete hiatus from plugins, completely, for sure. Even if I had the money, I still look for discounts, as you should, my friend. As you should. Yeah, nobody gets rich by paying full price. You know what I'm saying? Nobody has income like that, especially for music gear by paying full price. Shit. Discount's my middle name. I ain't got no middle name, but if it were, it'd be Discount. Discount Maxon. Motherfucker. Polybrute 12, though. I'm still edging. I've played both of them now. At the Synth and Pedal convention, I spent some serious time. Well, not serious time, but I spent a significant amount of time with the Polybrute 12, and I'm definitely on Team Muse for sure. Have not bought a plugin since 2019. Oh shit, man. See, that's the thing about it, man. There's been some really good plugins too, like goddamn Lunacy Audio and that damn Cube and Beam. Like there's stuff like that, and like Myth. Jesus. But yeah, so what's else on somebody else's gas list? What's the thing? The Electron, right? What was that? The sampler, but no time stretching. Oh, they pulled the Roland. Oh no, nobody's gonna get it now. Whoops. Slippin' Jimmy. Slippin' Jimmy. The new Dawson. Oh yeah, that's right. What else is going? That's pretty much it. There's been a couple little items here and there, but for the most part, just purchasing the Sound Tower app for the TO5. Oh, dope. I keep saying Teo. I know it's Teo, but damn. It's probably not even that. Yo. Better call Saul. Yo, how's this for redundancies? What up, cut? There we go. I'm on my virus shit today. I got Virus the hat, Virus the t-shirt, Virus the tattoo. I got Virus Music, the coffee mug. I'm just sitting waiting for the live 3. Yeah. I think not for gas. I don't want to be first. I don't care about being first for the channel. But I'm behind on my Zounds account. I ain't getting that shit until I pay this off. They ain't giving me nothing. And then still I have to pay for it. So I need to get my finances in order ASAP. And even then, it's like, what do we do? Because in order to get that direct in, got to get that Mac. And then I could do that to get things taken care of. Really, they dropped the ball there. Really? Oh, with the Electron? Yeah. Yo, them's rolling problems. No time stretching in the sampler? Holy shit. That is a basic tenet of sampling. That's what really, and that's the first thing I dug into on the Phantom was the sampler, People want to know where it went sideways with me and the Phantom. The sampler. That was strike one. Strike one was the sampler. No time stretching. Ugh. Yikes. No velocity pitch either. That's the crazy thing, too. Electron users don't know what time stretch is. Yeah, but once you don't have it, you're like, what the fuck is wrong with my project? How come it doesn't sync up to the rest of the thing? It could be fixed, yeah, surely. Yeah, and they'll probably do it right away just to dispel some of that anger. That's why Akai has been taking so long on this MPC3, getting all their ducks in a row. Because like I said about old fumbles, 2 times, 4 transactions, and 2 out of those 4, I did not get the price that I paid for. I did not get the piece of gear that I paid for. The age-old adage of commerce. I pay you money, you give me said product that I paid for immediately. If there is a discrepancy, you communicate that immediately. Or if somebody is communicating that with you directly because you're unaware of it, respond immediately. They take a whole 24 hours to respond, and by then, fumbles? That's why I did the fumbles video. No time stretch, then no tone work. Yeah. Tone work. What the fuck does it... God, them and their names. Jeez. Kai fix it. Yeah. Yeah, I've been thinking about that too, getting like a S950 or something like that and just leaving it at that. Because, I mean, just use my own keyboards here and control it. Octatrack has time. Oh, that is super offensive. You know, and that's the thing about it too. The old Phantoms had time stretching too. So it's like they clearly understand this technology and they clearly had built a sampler. Why did they not put it in there? And that's the same with Roland. They're the ones who make the SP. So they had the SP 404, you know, and all that, you know, time stretching of the thing, sampling's a thing, sample chopping. They could do all of that. But yeah, my waist is time stretching. Touche. Speaking of time stretching, I'm gonna have to go to this pot store up the road and get some time stretching on my brain. Yeah, it's crazy. Welcome to, by the way. Great joke. The MPC3 has some sort of screen record. Oh, screen record. I didn't even think about that. Screen record. Yo, that would be awesome. Screen record. They're not going to do it. They're not. No way. No way. Now you're just gassing for stuff that will never exist. Just got home. What's good, everybody? Welcome, sir. On a Sunday. Working man on a Sunday. How's it going, Apollo? Yeah, Apollo. I know who is going to get one of those MPCs right away. Everybody, tell Apollo how much he needs an MPC Live 3 when it comes out. I told him, you know, anybody, just like what I said on the channel, anybody who is within this space, gear space, music production, YouTube or whatever, who has one of the MPC Live 3s, it doesn't matter how small your channel is, you will get a leg up from that. It is going to be one of the most anticipated. He's got the 61. He's got the Key 61. He doesn't need it. You shut your goddamn mouth, George. Yeah, I mean, really, when it comes down to it, he doesn't need it. But I said, you get it. You get it, though, you know, if you're trying to build your YouTube channel. and it's already within your wheelhouse. You're already familiar with the workflow. You already can use it within your space. So you have plenty of stuff to attach it to and plenty ways to go with it. He still wants it. Yep. Yeah, no matter how much of us don't need it, we all want it. Why? You shut your goddamn mouth, that's why. None of your goddamn business. Yo, for sure. Oh, man, yeah, shit. His live's over? Fuck, man, I'm sorry, Recon. I gotta go back and... Speaking of which, shout out to the homie. I know he, I just bought his CD because I saw it was on Bandcamp. I haven't even opened it yet. I bought his CD and he sent me his other one. And then he sent me a bunch of stickers, right? That you guys can't read because I'm on the front side of the camera, so it's all backwards. So if you take this and reflect it in a mirror, you'll be able to read it. So, and then, he wrote me a note, like a lunchbox note. It's like straight off the refrigerator. Look at free sandwich bag. Look at that. That was the biggest part of it. Free sandwich bag. Yo, so, Cresshead, if you're still in here, I'm gonna go ahead and take care of that because, like I said, periodically in between there, we do get things coming in, and our friend Tyrone Sellers, as much as you may not see him around here, he's around always. So I'll be able to take care of you today on that. Speaking of CDs, and it's funny because this was on Bandcamp, and I was just going to pay for the Bandcamp, but the Bandcamp said you could get a physical copy too for a little bit extra. So I did a little bit extra, just get the physical copy. I probably won't open it. I don't know, maybe I will. But since he didn't sign it or anything, I'll probably just keep it. I'm kind of curious to see what the insert is. Do you guys want to see what the insert is on Recon's album? You want to see what the insert is? That would be my only reason for opening it. Because I got the digital form or whatever just fine. Yeah. Shout out to the homie here. It's funny because I used to see him in the most unlikely of places, and then I realized afterwards, I was like, oh, it's not the most unlikely of places. These are the most likely of places I would find this guy. So, yeah. Salute to Captain Sellers. We've been on a nice little journey together. Oh God, the stuff that he's building, y'all ain't ready for Tyrone Sellers. Man. Okay, I'm opening it here. This is my slum account. Warheart Arts. Yeah, okay. I'm Num Tum, okay. Warhearts is in here? Did I see you, Warhearts? I'm sorry, man. I missed you. Okay. Oh, look at that. Words. Words that need to be read. Okay. I'm looking through my spectacles now. Oh, you are. Well, welcome, Warheart. That makes it even weirder that you asked about the subscription thing. Oh, wait, no, that wasn't you. That was somebody else. Okay. So it looks like DJ Payne, one, has produced a few of these tracks on here. Reconsider vocals on tracks 3, 6, 8, 10, 11, and 12. Special thanks to Rick. Okay, that's just special things down the road. Blah, 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 blah. Cool. Dope. Okay, here's the CD. Dope CD, nice professional press. It looks like it feels like duplication, but it doesn't look like duplication. Like it kind of has the gloss reflectivity of duplication, but it has the that's definitely duplication there. But still, that's pretty good for CDR duplication. Dave's not here, man. Yeah, pretty dope. So shout out to the homie Recon, even though we stomped on your live stream the entire thing. For those who aren't subscribed, Reconsiderate Music Sketchpad. He's also participating in Inky Fest. Inky Fest is this weekend. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is Inky Fest. T-shirt. I need to order my Inky Fest T-shirt. Sorry, I didn't mean to jiggle you guys over here. So we got prime real estate on the Inky Fest T-shirt, which is cool because we got that shit right on time. So let's go over here, and I'll show you guys. Hardware jams. Oh yeah, get your jams in. Inky Fest. Inky Fest. Inky Fest. Dope, 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 dope. Mine's here. Mine's here. Where'd Panda get on there? Oops. Okay, let me show you guys. I'll do the close-up so you guys can see it. More, well, it's on the T-shirt. This back, the listing is on the T-shirt. And our listing is right here. We're the bottom corner. We are in the second best position on the thing. So the first best is right here at the beginning, but the second best is the beginning bottom. Third best is up here. Fourth best is down here. It's just where the human eye takes the visual. And Viral Beats is right there on the bottom, the very bottom corner name. So you have all this space that just points. So I'm going to draw an arrow on my T-shirt that like goes straight to it and be like Viral Beats. But yeah, Inky Fest the T-shirt. Get yours now. I might end up getting the hoodie since we're going into the season and everything like that. So there's a hat. There's an Inky Fest hat. Or is that my hat? Because my hat is pretty dope. Oh, son of a bitch. Oh, they did it. The sons of bitches. Well, at least I'm not, thanks to our friend here, I'm not subjected to YouTube ads over here, speaking of which, because as soon as that money went into my account, YouTube Premium said, hey, we're going to take that out for you. So now we're back to YouTube Premium. Hey, no more commercials for us. Inky Fest, Inky Fest, Inky Fest. She had the absolute best send-off that anybody in this space could ever dreamed of getting. That weekend last year was so profound. I was like crying the whole fucking weekend. And there's no exception, because when that CD gets here, it's going to be right when Inky Fest starts, and every single jam's going to make me cry like a little bitch. No offense, little bitches, but damn. I'm a grown man. YouTube Premium is pricey. Yeah, man, they want to give me stuff that I don't want. I just don't want to see commercials. But they've started injecting ads into the chat. They've started injecting ads elsewhere, too. And it's like, God damn it. So yeah, shout out to Cresshead. Speaking of Inky Fest, our friend Cresshead out here made a whole CD dedicated to Inky the cat, and that just came out this week. So, this week, right, is when you got him. So yeah, speaking of things here, talk about a send-off, but there's no off to be sent. She's currently with us. That's why we're doing all this, and that's why, the Hardware Jams annual has been effectively renamed Inky Fest. It's human to cry. I don't care anymore. If I'm sad, I cry. Yeah, yeah, same here. I don't know who Inky is, but I keep hearing about this Inky in our community. No disrespect. So Inky the cat was just one of us, you know, and that's minimizing her contribution and you know, reflection of who she is personally. But um, she was just one of us, and she hardware jams was her thing. That was her thing, and her thing was also the MPC workflow. So she was over here showing Kent Spong the inner workings of the MPC one, you know, back when. And yeah, Tuesday was not planned, just happened. Yeah, see how that works? Yeah, and just that song alone, just that first song alone, or the second song that you did, you know, and just listening to that at the end of Hardware Jams, that shit chokes me up every time. Yeah, so Inky the cat, aka Lisa, how do you pronounce it? Bonnier or whatever. Is that? Sorry, I don't mean to butcher. But anyways, yeah, she would always try to recruit people into hardware jams to get going on jams, and she was a frequent guest in ProSynth Network in the chat, and she actually was talking to Benyon, sorry, close, Benyon, or Benyon. Is that how you say it? Is that how you say it? Is that right? I'm trying to say it the right way, but is that the correct? Might get an MPC one again. I sold mine, didn't use it much. It didn't click with me. Yeah, you know, I get that. I think we talked about that yesterday in your other account. But yeah, you know, I think with the new workflow, I think that maybe time to take a say. I sold my MPC one, um, Benyon, Ben Benon, Benon. Okay, Benon. Okay, gotcha. Okay, Benon. How you say it? Okay, gotcha. See, thanks for correcting my American English, or what they call American English. Sorry, I'm like dripping over here. So yeah, dope person. Yeah, she passed away last year. It was sudden, but not really. Like it's like like she had health issues, you know, that she was working through, but just the timing of it all, you know, right at a time to where she was essentially feeling better. You know, it was like, oh, I'm feeling a lot better, and then you know, but the impact around the community has been so profound. It's just been great, and yeah, even though we didn't know her as well currently over here, you know, a lot of our friends did, and you know, that was definitely felt throughout the community. And being more inky is something that we have done, you know, ever since, just because you know, feeling it's our duty, you know, with what we're doing. So shout out to you, Cress Head, for putting together that CD. That must have been a an emotional journey to say the least, you know. And yeah, so I'll take care of you at the end of the stream here. So you can go ahead and send that out anyway. See how it worked out. Anyway, you know, that's why we live in the abstract over here, because you know, YouTube is trying to get me and this channel to like lock it down and really, you know, promote to do the zeitgeist type things, and you know, reflect the new gifts and you know, chat stuff and you know, other crap in here. But you know, we're not here for that. We're here to hang out with friends and you know, reflect the journey, not only our own experience, but the stuff that you know, we all go through, you know, that we all experience, and that every once in a while there's this ability to be able to dictate it and show it to the world. And that's what this YouTube channel is for. The same way that my first YouTube channel was for that same thing, was to show everybody what was going on in the shop. But things were a lot more abstract. I think I was 24, 25 years old at the time. You know, life was a lot different during that time. Now the cameras are better, the technology is a lot better, the music's a lot better, the journey is a lot different. We're in this booming town. We have connected with Hardware Jams through our friends, and the passing of Lisa herself, was kind of like the catalyst of most of this. And yeah, we're still gonna nerd out on gear, even though we don't gas over it. We're still gonna, yeah, we're all doing the SOR vinyl project. I'm excited about it. Yeah, I might contribute a piece to it, but my duty in that role is going to be more on the mastering element of things. Not even the mixing side of things. But yeah, I'm definitely in. So wherever they need me, I will use what I can offer to the best of my abilities. Yeah, my bad on losing the stream. T-Mobile has throttled my data, so not until the 18th will we get back on the horse as far as that goes. It's just all this going out and doing all this. Right now we're connected to the Wi-Fi in here, doing what we're doing over here, and messing on the MPC. See that? See that? MPC is fucking up already. And it took me to here. I wasn't over here. I wasn't in this menu doing this. I was over here. It keeps thinking. The brain of the NPC keeps thinking. And while it thinks, I can't press any notes. I can't do anything. It shuts down all reason. It does play the piece all the way through. Watch, you'll see it do it again. Especially if I start pressing buttons. It takes up the whole screen. And it'll show as if it's thinking. Watch it, it'll do it again. It's all this taking it outside business. Processing can't barely support the operation anymore. Yeah, and that's the thing. I do not have these type of issues with the MPC-1. This is one of those things that I was kind of mentioning during the earlier live stream, that the MPC-1 Plus seems to have better computing power and capabilities than the MPC Live 2. But it's not scientific because I don't know what goes on in the back end of things. I just know that I don't have these issues, and the movement on the MPC-1 Plus is a lot quicker in my workflow than it is here with the Live 2. Kai marketing ploy. Make the memory bloat. Would you like the new MPC? Yeah, that's the thing about it. Having the direct in on the mic in the back is a big deal. That is a game-changing feature, being able to just plug a microphone like an SM58 on the back and wrap over it with the speaker being what it is, that is fucking game-changing. I want it just for that. Seriously. All this gassing up, fuck the gas for a sec. I am excited about the prospects of being able to just plug in my XLR mic cable to an SM58 and rap over the beat that I just made as I'm making it. That right there alone is worth it for me to upgrade the MPC and get a Live 3. That said, $1,700, not very easy to come by. even doing it on payment plans. Yo, I'm like 3 months behind on this shit. You know, we've had a rough month. It's all good. It's all temporary. Shit happens, and you make these decisions for the sake of moving forward with other things. There's a once in a lifetime experience taking this journey and doing what we did going to Cincinnati. I wouldn't trade it for anything. And what, a discrepancy for a few weeks? Ooh, what am I gonna do? Vertical live stream and talk to you guys about real shit? Oh, shucks. I'm really suppressed here. Yo, Reconsiderate Music Sketchpad. What's up, Recon? Sorry for stepping on your live. I did open your CD, though, so I could see what's inside and read the innards. And I showed everybody your lunchbox note from the fridge. Reflecting the sandwich bag coming up on. I might have a cunning plan for your current MPC and the XLR mic. Ooh. Yeah, so USB mics. USB mics work fine. So I was just going to get a USB mic for this and just do it that way and hook it up like that. But I'd rather just have the XLR so then I could hook up an SM58. So I do want to do that. No, XLR mic. Okay, cool. There's also the Shure has one, an adapter, don't they? A USB to XLR adapter. It's like a little piece interface thing I think they have. I mean, I'm just spitballing because these are all things that I've already considered. But yeah, share with me, Cresshead. Let me know all your secrets. Uh-oh, Wivey's up, talk sports. Cat's like, yo, where you been? Where you been? Where you been, Mom? All right. Love you guys. It's been an hour and 40 minutes here. Yeah, I just wanted to get on and talk to you guys about this journey and just kind of share this whole thing. And I just noticed really this pivotal turning point in our lives, comes at this perfect timing. Inky Fest, we got our jamming for that, going through it, and just everything changing the way that it is. We got this shop too, like, god damn, this shop. And yeah, crazy. Yeah, I went on Bandcamp because he showed his Bandcamp, and then on the Bandcamp it says get a physical copy of the CD. I was like, oh, I'm quite physical copy of the CD, so I got that. Lil Tussin has a CD player, so maybe I'll let him listen to it. He was really when I was playing that here, he was really excited. He was like, oh, this is Recon. Like, he was tripping out that. I was like, yeah, he's not just over here doing this. Like, he has a whole experience of, rapping and, doing all this. Been lurking. Yeah, appreciate your lurking, Renaissance, for sure. Yeah, but I'm going to let you guys go and face the day. Our friends are going to be live streaming here pretty soon. Shout out to Symptoms of Reality, who had an issue with their Roadcaster and all that. But apparently they're getting another one, so they'll be back on the horse, so to speak. No pun intended, for some farriers. But yeah, we're just going to do it up and probably live stream again through this circumstance with the Wi-Fi until getting our data reset on the 17th or on the 18th or whatever. But yeah, it's been an interesting week. And yeah, as you could tell, we got the mini freak back over here. So our favorite synthesizer is back in the house. And yeah, it's a great way to stay in shape. See, it did it. See, it just did it. Rewind a couple seconds and see what it did. It thought. It had to think. But while thinking, I cannot press any notes or make any action take place. So if I'm in mid performance and pressing pads, I have to do it again. And it happens every few seconds. Like, I would say, not few seconds, it happens probably every other minute. It just started doing it since being on the lake last time. And it wasn't because of being on the lake and getting water into it. I know what you're thinking. It wasn't the water. Because we didn't even get water into the components. We got it on the outside, we wiped it up real quick. It's just the moving stuff around and doing all that stuff itself. But yeah, rumor has it that the 24th will be around the time that the NPC Live 3 is released. We'll probably do content on it beforehand just because, the conversation. And yeah, I want it just for the mic hookup, but also the efficiency in the community or computing as well. I want to make sure, loop chain timing. Yeah. So yeah, appreciate you guys, and you guys will see more of us. Inky Fest, Inky Fest, Inky Fest. Starts on Friday, and it's going to be good fun. So appreciate you guys for coming through, being a part of this. Did it again. Okay, off to test mic idea. Let me know, press that. Oh, wrong one. I gotta go with the craziness. Take care, everybody. Peace, y'all. Love you guys. Leave a like on your way out. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, all that jazz. And we'll talk to you guys later and see you guys in other people's chats, whatever. You guys know the deal over here. Ain't nothing changed. Take care, everybody.